At Farmers Insurance, we know a roof can withstand a lot. One exception being an airborne car. Seen it, covered it. Click for more.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The following is a Podcast One Minnesota production.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
If it's made in Minnesota, who's making it and how?
Yeah, you got that right.
It's the Makers of Minnesota, focusing on the products and services uniquely made in Minnesota, and conversations with the makers, entrepreneurs, and innovators in Minnesota about how they conceived of their products and how they brought them to market. With Stephanie Hansen, it's the Makers of Minnesota.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Makers of Minnesota. I'm Stephanie Hansen, and this is episode number 59. And today we are talking to a couple that is sisters. And I read about you guys in the Star Tribune. We're talking to Liz Knutson and Kathy Keene, and they have a business called One Day Design. And you guys are makers in the sense of that you take existing things that people have and you make them into something new and fresh. You're interior designers. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
I was really impressed when I read about two sisters working together in the interior design space. I thought that was pretty cool. But also that you took people's existing furniture, pictures, heirlooms from their grandparents, and took a look at their living space and helped them reconcept it in a way that was totally fresh and new. How did you guys discover that you had this talent?
Well, do you want to start with your story first of your background?
Yeah, I was worked for a full-fledged designer for 13 years, and about 2.5 years ago, our parents were moving out of their house of 54 years, and I just felt like I was just falling apart at the seams, and so I quote-unquote retired. Just to take kind of a break.
Yeah.
And while we were focusing on our parents, I thought, well, I miss parts of designing, and I really thought about what I didn't like about it, and I realized it was the shopping that which is like constant. We used to joke that we're glorified movers, basically.
Right.
And so. Someone at church, we were walking and I was telling her this concept and she said, I'll hire you. And I'm like, so she was our first customer and it was so fun. And, Catherine she's a, teacher by trade.
Yep.
But she was still subbing and, could pick up jobs that it was kind of slow to begin with. And, and she's always had the knack, and so between the two of us, we've just really established roles. I move furniture, art and hang things, and she's a really great. She digs through stuff and sets things up. I think people like that, the little vignettes, and I mean, we tell people you literally could have a party when you come home because you can see it all set up, whether they keep it that way. A lot of clients say they don't move a thing.
Well, so let's back up 1 second, Liz.
Yeah.
So, okay, someone contacts you, and when they contact you, what does this look like? Do you have a consultation? How much are they paying you? Are they paying you per hour, per job? How does this work?
Well, we just charge for our time. And so they'll call for a consultation, and that's free. We don't charge for that. And we'll go and meet with the people and just listen to them for that first meeting. And then we just see if it's going to be a good fit.
Yep.
And I would say the majority of our jobs are kind of the main floor of a house. And anywhere from 4 to 8 hours is kind of our typical. A lot of them are about 4 if they're kind of at average South Minneapolis.
Yep.
And then we just have them walk us up to their attic, their basement. We had a client today and she showed us all her stuff in her basement. And that's our favorite job, is when we really just don't have to buy one thing and we use everything that they have.
And so you walk around and look at like, oh, they're not using this end table in the right way, or these books could really be making a statement somewhere else. And as you're walking around the house, are you seeing these things in your mind?
Yes.
And are you looking at each other? Liz is nodding as Kathy's talking. Are you looking at each other like, and oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have, because I can see as sisters that you would have a unique connection to do that.
I think definitely. I mean, we'll sometimes even be like, oh, did you see that? Did you see that? And then a lot of times the owners think, oh, I don't think you'd want to use that. And a lot of times when they come home and we've used it, they're like super happy, but it's something they never would have thought of before we had been there.
Okay, so they hire you. It's going to be like 4 or 8 hours. Do they leave for the day and give you the keys, and do they help you move stuff around, or what physically happens next?
Yeah. Well, and just kind of getting back to that initial consultation, Catherine's great for me because I get so excited, and I do actually do most of the talking, and pretty soon I'm telling them all the things they should do, and she's like, hang on.
Save some of the gold.
we need to come back and get paid, because I'm like, have you ever tried that over here? And
Yeah.
they're like, no, So she's great at like kind of, listen is our goal the first time. And, but also preparing people because like you said, we don't want them home. Mostly because we come up with really stupid ideas along the way. And
Sure.
we don't want them hiding in the kitchen, calling their mom saying, I've made a huge mistake. Because we just have to feel free to try things.
Yeah.
And plus, we love the text messages we get or emails when they get home. And it's just, they're on their own. They don't have to fakey say, oh, I love it, for standing there.
Right.
They can just take it in. We don't contact them usually for like a day following up just to let them, because it does look different. And
that is part of our model that we do ask that we're not there. And some people are surprised by that because they think, oh, you're not going to be here when we get home. And we say, no, because we don't want you to feel like you have to
like
talk
it if you
to
don't.
us
And
just let it sink in.
And how much
walk
is it an
around.
hour?
we're $125 an hour
for both of us.
both of us. And basically, if we did need to find, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this, but I swore I'd never open a carpet account. The boards are practically bigger than I am. But we have in the beginning had customers who we didn't want to say, oh, no, we don't do that. You know, so they literally just pay directly to them. So we're literally only getting paid for our time, whether we're scaling out a room. We've had love downsizing seniors and going and seeing what they have in their big home, and then scaling it down into their apartment. So we do have stuff that we do outside of that's totally rewarding too, but it's basically $125 no matter what we're doing. It's just so easy.
Yeah.
And
I would charge more.
Well, we have.
You guys need to charge more.
I think everyone feels like we're a good deal.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Yeah.
We do also paint consults, which is a flat $150 fee, and we actually feel that's a great deal too because we make big board samples, so the people don't have to keep buying their quart samples and have that add up. And so that's been a pretty successful part of our business too.
Is your schedule pretty full?
Well, after the article, for sure, it was
She's referring to an article that was in the Star Tribune that I saw.
You mentioned earlier.
That's how I found out about you.
It actually was even kind of scary, just because we were like, wow, this is. And what's kind of funny about the article, and Kim Palmer is so great at the Star Tribune, but other newspapers have purchased that article. And so we had a call from Detroit, Michigan, wondering if we could help. Erie, Pennsylvania.
And would you go on the road if you got paid for your travel expenses?
We had someone call from Eau Claire, and we did talk about it a little bit, but that would be almost a 3-hour round trip.
Right.
So at this point, we just have enough business closer to home. But we have found with the paper, because we both live in South Minneapolis, we have found that we are definitely expanding. Today we're in Prior Lake.
Right.
Tomorrow we'll be in Minnetonka. So the paper definitely made that range much bigger.
Do you ever go into someone's home and it's just like they're either a hoarder or the stuff is just disastrous and you just don't really feel like you can help them?
We haven't had that yet. We have found a lot of people have too much stuff, and we talk about that in the paper, and we always tell people we will box some things up, and that's kind of the part that I do, the staging of things, and it's not personal. It's not that we don't like it, but just rotate it throughout the year so you can really see your things more. And kind of with my background, I was a school teacher and then I stayed home with my kids.
Yep.
So as a teacher, I always was rotating things at my house for seasons.
Yeah,
and
seasonally.
so I think people, just are like, oh, I never really thought about that. They kind of thought they had to have everything out.
Yeah.
So we edit a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. We joke with the woman this morning that she's ready for Christmas because her Christmas pillow was still on the chair, and she was funny about it too. But and then getting back to traveling too, I think one thing, just kind of comparing it to my former job, these people typically have not worked with a designer.
Right.
They're not typical people that designers would. In fact, I mean, they're almost a little nervous to call us.
Yep.
And so. It's just on such a different scale. We're really getting to people who they're just so tired of spending money and trying to make their house look, and they just can't figure out why their house looks good, but they don't want to spend their child's college education on having us over,
Is there something that you go into these houses and you just find that it's always the same thing, or that you're always doing one thing?
Well, for sure, one thing we do, I think, at every client's is rearrange all the artwork. And that really makes a big difference.
Because is it needed? Is it because people just see things in a weird way, or they're not hanging things right?
Well, she's kind of the expert at that. And I've actually had her do it at my house, too, as a birthday present. But she just has an eye for it.
Yep.
And it does. It's just she knows where to place things, and it just feels better.
Yep.
At Farmers Insurance, we know a roof can withstand a lot. One exception being an airborne car. Seen it, covered it. Click for more.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Is there a trick to one of the things I noticed when I was looking at the article that you guys are referring to is the house felt very lived in but cohesive. Like you made all of her disparate pieces kind of come together in a way that felt like it had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. My mom died, so I have like these random chairs and things that are meaningful to me that I don't really know what to do with or how to incorporate it. I'm assuming that's your gift.
Well, and that's what happened with this client that was in the paper also in the Star Tribune, and that's such an emotional time. I mean, that was we cried with her and sat looking at her iPad, and she was showing us pictures of her mother's home and things in Illinois. And I don't think she was going to take much. And I mean, I was just like, are you kidding me? I mean, at least just let's get them up here, and we can probably make more money if we resell them. But yeah, I think it's just, and I'm really an art person too. Art doesn't have to match. It's just like an emotional thing. I'm probably the emotional person too. I think it's, our grandma was, she had no training, but she always told us every room needs some black. A lot of people say, oh, but it's true. I mean, so genes probably have.
Well, and with our
benefited
grandma,
both of us.
too, she didn't have a lot of money to work with, but her house was always beautiful.
Right.
And she really put a lot of effort into it. And then our mom's very good at doing decorating, too, just on her own.
Do you guys ever disagree or get into a fight about something?
Not really. I mean, I think we've said we really balanced each other out well.
Yep. And in terms of your business, like is it hard to ask for the money? Is it hard to collect the payment? Do you struggle with any of those type of business things?
I don't think we have.
No, I mean, usually people are like, a lot of times they'll let us in the morning and they're like, can I leave you a check? And, we're like, no, we'll bill you, but we just want to be sure you're happy with it.
Yeah.
And we always tell people this is not brain surgery. Anything can be moved. And I feel like I always feel it's better when people are having a little bit of fun with it too.
Yep.
And the other thing too is that they're losing control. They're leaving us in their home by ourselves.
Right.
And we want to be sure they're ready for the change because it will look different. It's a huge waste of money if they come home and can't figure out what we did.
Right.
So a lot of times it's like completely different. You
And
know?
husbands and wives, how do they feel about your services?
We've mostly just met, I think, with the women.
'Cause my husband would be like, "Oh, heck no."
We did have a husband who swore he was going to stay out of our hair, but he worked from home. And he said he wouldn't come out, and you know, we were a little nervous about that. And of course, he would come to get coffee or something in the kitchen, and he's like, "Well, that's never gone there before." And we're like,
Yes, you're right.
Yes.
yeah, you know. So, but no, everyone has been so, knock on wood, everyone has been so appreciative, and I just think they're just so pleased that they can have some professional help in their price range.
Sure.
You know, it's not unattainable for them. And
So, for marketing purposes and promoting your business, it seems like you have some capacity. Do you strategize how you're going to market it? Is it, you mentioned, I asked you if you had a website. You said no, it's just through Facebook.
right.
You did say you joined Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
What are you posting on Instagram? Are you mostly showing transformations? Are you trying to show people ways that they can group things in their own homes?
We, a lot of times, I think on Facebook, we post most of the pictures of homes we've done, and we always ask the client if we can do that. Feel like with Instagram, we have fun because it's more little vignettes.
Yeah.
Like she did one the other day of a fall, something she had done at her house for fall. And people, I think, really like those ideas.
How often do you guys redo your own homes?
I'm always tweaking. You know, like I just pulled out all my fall stuff this week.
And so you're editing too and cycling things
Yes,
through.
I would say weekly I'm doing something. I kind of like to do something creative anyways each week just to kind of keep it fresh.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and getting back to our social media and things, and it has been a struggle because people love before and after pictures.
Right.
They love them. We love them. And we just don't do it because we feel like people are a little apprehensive anyway to have us come in, and I'm putting words in clients' mouths that they've never even said, but just to make it easier to understand, like they might even be a little embarrassed or
Right.
like they just don't like it. They can't figure out why. We don't need to advertise that.
Mhm.
And so it has been a struggle because some potential clients have like said, can I see some before and after? We have before pictures and we have the ability to send them through an email or something just to kind of show the comparison. But that's not what we're doing. We're not celebrating someone's before and look at what we
Their
did
lack
now.
of success.
Exact-
And yeah, I never even thought
Exactly,
about that. Yeah.
exactly.
So it is a hard thing to market.
Well, I know for the Star Tribune, we were very fortunate that Lisa, the client, told Kim that she could use the before pictures because Kim did say in the newspaper, people really want to see the before.
Right.
And what was really fun about that one is we changed her paint color. So she had, and I had this too, but a cranberry dining room and then a different color living room. And we unified that whole space. So I think in that case for the paper, it was really fun probably for people to see that change, what a difference that made, to just update the paint
Well,
colors.
so many of us have that, too.
Mhm.
So
All right. Do you guys have some trends that you're seeing kind of in the interior design space as we're going?
I mean, definitely I feel like we're a little anti-trend. I feel like we don't want your house to look like a West Elm catalog.
Yep.
That's not your house. And we always tell clients, if they, when the first initial consultation, they decide if we're right, we decide if we can have an impact on the house. And once we do that, we say when we come back, leave out anything that you need to see every day. And we don't care what it is. But again, being the emotional person, your house is your house, is your house, is your house. And there's history.
Right.
There should be history. So if you need to see your mother's vase, we want to use it. We don't
Right.
want to not use that. So, sometimes the dining room table will have things on it that they definitely want to see every day. And we don't fight that at all. We don't care if it's trendy or not. We want to use it. So
When one of the things I like to do is at night, I like to go walking and I like to look in people's windows and look at their houses.
My family calls that stalking when I do that, but I love to do that too.
My husband finds it weird too, and I'm like, oh, look inside. It's shocking to me how little art people have. They don't have art on the walls. They might have family pictures, and that's fine, but people don't put things on their walls. So even if you just did that, I would think you could create such a dramatic difference in a lot of people's homes.
I mean, I was a tour guide at the Art Institute for years. And I mean, for me, it's just such a, I could start crying looking at something, or I could feel happy about looking for it, or from a trip, at least like pick up a poster from, we were in Barcelona. I could only afford a Picasso poster. Who cares? It's $4. Every time I walk by it, I think of our trip, So, yeah, for me, it is really that. But there are some people who it's not even on their radar, know. So, and we can make that work, too.
We did have a client that just hired us to do artwork. And she had a lot of, all her walls were open. And so she just left everything out for us. And so when she came home, she had a whole house of artwork. And it was really fun. Yeah.
We are talking with One Day Design, Liz and Kathy. And people can find you at One Day Design on Instagram, on Facebook. And you will reconcept the existing pieces that someone has in their home. You'll do a paint consultation, or I do like that you will go into a home of a senior and help them downsize for their next journey. I like that.
Yeah. It's been that's super rewarding.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here today. I love your business. I love the idea of it. I thought it was really cool that you were a service that wasn't asking people to buy anything new necessarily, just work with what they had. It seemed very user-friendly. When you said you don't love buying things for people. Do you help them sell things if they need to? Like if they love what you've done and they need to edit out a bunch of stuff, do you help them get rid of things or?
No, and I don't want to give the wrong opinion. We have basically we tell people you can kick us to the curb whenever you want.
Sure.
That's the beauty of us.
Yep.
If you need some things, the first step would even be just scaling out the room.
Right.
Because especially with furniture, it's scale, and scale. And so at least if they can have a vision on a piece of paper of what their room looks like, then they can go out looking for furniture. So that would be the easiest step. We've had a lot of clients who say, I want you to go further than that. So we've gone and picked out just at retail places. I haven't opened up any things at IMS, but I do have we do have a Robert Allen fabric for drapes and reupholstering things, because reupholstering is great too. But so we can do that. But the beauty of it is they tell us when to be done.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
So I love that. You guys have a great service. I love that your sisters working together. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Wrap me in bacon, and pour bacon crumbles on my head. Pour bacon crumbles on his head. Now that I think of it, I'll just go to Little Caesars. So go to Little Caesars. Get a bacon wrap deep dish pizza instead. Get a bacon wrap deep dish pizza instead.
Get Little Caesars large, hot and ready bacon wrap deep dish pepperoni and bacon pizza wrapped in over 3.5 feet of bacon for just $12 at participating locations plus tax.
Pizza.
I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. An F-16 pilot having hydraulic problems with his aircraft managed to parachute to safety as the plane smashed into a warehouse east of Los Angeles. Fire Captain Fernando Herrera.
That pilot landed in the March Air Force Base area, in the base itself.
Amazingly, there were no serious injuries after the plane hit the building. Alabama executed a man last night for his role in killing 4 people after an argument over a pickup truck. Tennessee executed a man who killed his wife. Reporters couldn't see the execution, but AP correspondent Travis Lawler says
we could hear sounds, including a singing, that Mr. Johnson's attorney says was him singing a hymn.
Answering a reporter's question, President Trump said he hopes the U.S. is not on a path to war with Iran. Mr. Trump has dismissed suggestions that any of his advisors are trying to push him into a conflict. I'm Rita Foley.